Hey everybody. Um, I didn't actually expect that I was going to make a video about this. I thought that maybe it would. I don't know. I guess I just didn't really think that I should, um, because I didn't know that I had a lot to say. But now that I've been thinking about it more, and it's kind of actually set in, and and it's prompted me to tears a couple of times. Um, I thought that I would at least, address it because I think there were some things that I know a lot of people are probably going to say a lot of the same things that I say here, but I felt that they were worth saying anyway. Um, so, as you can probably see from the title, this video concerns Etika, or Desmond Amofa, by his actual name, um, a YouTuber here who, he used to make a lot of gaming streams and reaction videos and stuff. If you're not familiar with the situation, though I'm sure, most people are by now, um, unfortunately, he met the end of a long battle with his mental health and depression. And several days ago, he took his own life. And honestly, it's kind of difficult. It's kind of surreal, really, for me, because I had never been a very big follower of Desmond's channel or anything, but I did watch him on occasion throughout the past couple of years, and every time I saw something of his, I was always thoroughly entertained by both his reactions and his general. He had a lot of charisma to everything that he made and did. And, he had a very larger than life presence, I think, that drew a lot of people to his content. Even just recently, he had made some reaction videos to the Banjo-Kazooie reveal in the new Smash, and, it was great. That in particular, like, if you concentrate what we really loved about Desmond, I think you could see a lot of it right there. Is just, he had such energy. He was always so excited about things. And I think, in a way, his excitement kind of illustrated a lot of the excitement that we felt for the same things, kind of like concentrated in one place. It's really understandable how easily he was able to draw people in. Even when he got his first channel deleted, he had, within just a little bit of time, he had, all of his subscribers and more back. It was crazy. Um, I know that in the past several months, he had been, displaying some rather unusual behaviors with these sort of episodes that he would have, and these strange sort of rants that he would go on social media, particularly Twitter. And at the time, a lot of people didn't really know what to make of it. I think a lot of people thought that it was some sort of like publicity stunt type thing, or that he was trying to fish for attention. But that couldn't have been farther from the case. It's clear now that, he was really suffering during those times, and I think, maybe some of those things might have been a cry for help. I'm not sure. It's hard to say. What I do know is that a lot of people during that time, and even leading up to this most recent event, didn't really take him very seriously. They, thought that he was just trying to fish for attention, that he was trying to, act out to get people to view him and, see his stuff, get him trending, that kind of thing. And a lot of people just didn't really take it seriously. They kind of talked about him crying wolf or whatever. And I want to kind of reinforce the sentiment that is not how we should be treating people with mental health problems, because depression, mental health issues, they look different on everyone. There's no real consistent definable, like, okay, here, let me whip out the chart and look at all the signs, kind of, it doesn't look the same on everybody. And there are a lot of people that, especially men, that really hide their suffering, whether it be due to, the way that they're brought up and told to, like, not express their emotions or encouraged not to express their emotions, or just because, maybe just because of a personal thought that they shouldn't burden other people with their issues. And at the same time, a lot of people would look at these things that he was doing and call him a clown and make fun of him and make memes and stuff. And, he acted like he was totally cool with that. He thought they were funny. He thought they were, so, inconsequential. It didn't really seem to faze him, but I don't think I actually believe that they didn't faze him. I think his final video more than enough proves that. I'm going off on kind of a tangent. What I kind of mean to get at, the crux of what I want to say here, I guess, is that, these things are not predictably, like, you can't pick them out and say, okay, this is definitely somebody who's depressed and this is somebody who's just faking it for attention, because you don't know what depression looks like on a person. You can't know. It's something that we have to take seriously. Yes, there are some people who will do things to get people to pay attention to them. Yes, there are people who will say things insincerely in an effort to make you empathize with them when perhaps maybe they're not being entirely truthful. But I think that, paying credence and attention to somebody who is using that for their own gain, maybe in a bad way, maybe somebody who is not being completely genuine when they do something like that, taking the risk to pay attention to someone like that is so much more important than casting your view away and judging somebody who could potentially actually be going through some serious problems that needs somebody to listen to them, somebody that they can reach out to, and somebody that they can get, to help them. People that really need that kind of help and support. And I think it's also prudent to mention, Desmond said some stuff in his final video about social media as well, how it kind of like encapsulates people and sort of changes them and, changes their behaviors and stuff. And I think there's a lot of truth to that. I think that's something that a lot of people should take into more account, should talk more about. I think, the landscape of entertainment media especially has changed so much over the past, decade. Used to, everybody just watched, movies or television for most of their entertainment. And there's a little bit of a feeling of a disconnect there, isn't there? That, a lot of people, when they watch television, they're just, oh man, when are they going to come out with a new season for this and that? And, if they don't come out with it fast enough, you're thinking, oh, they're lazy, they're wasting time, when are they going to come out with this and that and do this and, all that. And there's always been more of a disconnect in that medium with that because, it's always just these nameless production companies sitting behind a TV screen that we never really pay that much attention to. And now a lot of people are shifting their focus from, television and movies to online streaming and YouTube in particular. YouTube is becoming such a big platform for everybody's daily consumption of entertainment. But YouTube is such, not to say that there aren't companies on YouTube producing things, but YouTube is such a community-driven place. It's, it's so fueled by individual content creators and, just individuals that make things on their own time, on their own budget, by their own means. And, sometimes they have a consistent schedule. Sometimes that schedule becomes too stressful for them to keep up with. And sometimes, those expectations can become way too heavy. People scrutinize everything that you do, everything that you say to a much more exacerbated degree when you are a popular YouTuber than if you're just, some dude posting a vlog that nobody watches. And I think, that's something worth thinking about in more detail for our community in particular. is that, these aren't just, companies. These aren't just CEOs pushing out videos on a schedule that they're supposed to do. These are individuals. These are people with lives and feelings and, things that happen to them, and problems. And I think, not to say that I think, we should just stop expecting things of content creators, period. I'm not like saying, there should be no accountability or anything like that. But I think we should take, especially like schedules and stuff like that. Basically, I guess that sense of entitlement to a content creator's content, I think we should take with a grain of salt, because tomorrow I could decide that I didn't want to make a video for 6 months. And I know that would probably drive a lot of people away from my channel, and I know that a lot of people would probably get mad about it. But that's sort of the knee-jerk reaction, I suppose. That's not to say that I'm actually going to do that. I'm not. But what I mean to say when expressing that hypothetical is that, we as, viewers on YouTube should not feel entitled to get content from somebody who is making it for basically, just for kicks in their spare time, especially if they're not really making money off of it. I know that, Patreon is a thing that a lot of people do as well, but I mean, if you don't want to support somebody on Patreon, you can always just cancel it. So, it's not really that difficult to do that. But people kind of look at content creators and they hold them up on this pedestal. They scrutinize everything that they do, and they have so many people looking at them all the time. And I think that is a very stressful position to be in sometimes, especially for somebody with mental illness. It is such an incredibly terrifying place to be in the middle of all these gazes and try to think, how do I do this? How do I do that? How do I make myself look the best? How do I present my content? What do I do this week? What do I make? How fast do I have to make it? How much should I script? How much should I do this? Should I talk about this because it's popular right now? Should I do a video about this? Do you think it'd be popular enough to get views? It's just a smorgasbord of just way too many factors all going on at once, and it's understandably incredibly stressful for just about anyone. I think we as a community need to be better about respecting those boundaries and, respecting the people are people, not just, content creating machines that, run on autopilot and make our favorite videos every week. You know what I'm saying? This entire thing has been so absolutely tragic. I know that Desmond actually ran in some similar circles to myself at certain points, and so that kind of actually hits home a little bit harder for me, because I feel almost kind of like we were just, a stage removed or something. I wonder if, maybe, well, it's easy to wonder what if, but, a lot of people wonder, hey, if I could have been closer to this person, if I could talk to them when they really needed it, do you think maybe that would have made a difference? But, I mean, everybody does that, and it's easy to think about those kinds of things, especially in retrospect, because the fact of the matter is that, a man has lost his life, and there's nothing we can really do about that now. It's an absolutely terribly tragic thing that happened. I hope that his friends and his family are able to recover from this and cope with this. I know as well there are a lot of fans, myself included, of his that feel very shaken up about this, and I want you all to know that, we can get through this. And to anyone who may be feeling in a similar position to Desmond, if you deal with some of the same struggles or the same things, know that, there's always somebody out there that will listen to you. And the world is not better off without you in it. There's no responsibility that you have to remove yourself from everybody's presence. There's always redemption. There's always trying harder. There's always doing better. There's always improving. There's always making yourself a better person. There's always, there's always something. There's always somebody. I'm not quite sure what to say. I've gone rambling off for a while now, but if you need help, talk to somebody, reach out to somebody. It doesn't matter who, just, somebody you can talk to. Talk to somebody, please. And, if you see somebody struggling with something, please reach out and try to see what you can do, because you never know. You never know what somebody is going through, what's happening with them. And you never know if, something you say could have an adverse effect on them, whether it be negative or positive. A lot of people, they say, well, I don't know how much I could help in regards to talking about somebody with, problems like this. And I mean, you don't know, but, if you just reach out, who knows, that could be the difference between an outcome like this or somebody getting the help that they desperately need. And unfortunately, that's not how this situation played out. And it's really heartbreaking. It's absolutely tragic. But I think if we can take anything away from this, if Desmond would want us to take anything away from this, it's to learn from the things that we can recognize and see in this situation that we could do better with as individuals and a community in the future. And yeah, I guess that's all I really have to say about that. We're all going to miss him very terribly. I know a lot of us are gonna be shaken up about this for a while, but we'll get through it. And the last thing I wanted to address was, in his final video, he said, that we were all going to move on and we were going to forget about him. I just wanted to say, we're not going to forget about you, buddy. We're always going to keep you in our hearts. There's a big place for you right there. I know I myself did an impromptu purchase today to get a Joy-Con Boys shirt, so I could have that in my repertoire, so I could represent Desmond in the future, I guess. I don't know, call it a cheesy or a stupid gesture if you want, I guess, but, I thought that it was something nice, at least. Something that at least feels nice to me, anyway. Anyway, yeah, that's all I really had to say. I just think these are things that we really need to take into account. Things that, people say a lot of these types of things around times where people take their own lives, and we rally behind it, and we say we really need to pay attention to this, and we really need to double down on these things. And, these things come and go, and people, they do kind of forget, and they do kind of stop paying as much attention to those things that they said they should do. And I don't want this to be another thing like that. I really hope that, this food for thought is something that a lot of people are going to similarly be thinking about, and I hope that it brings improvement to our community in the future. And yeah, I guess that's it. Rest in peace, Etika, and I'll see you all next time. No patron slide this time. I don't want to tie this to like a money thing or anything. I'm not gonna do all that. This is just, off the cuff. Anyway, I've rambled long enough. See you in the next one, guys.